All right, we're going to talk about one more type of audience here, and we're going to create an audience with audience insights. So basically, you just want to go here to audience insights, and we're going to click on everyone on Facebook. And right here, what we have is basically all of the targeting options that you'll find within whenever you create an ad, basically. And we can actually go ahead and create the target before we create the ad, and later on we can load this target into the ad and we can also use it across multiple ads. So we're going to go ahead and put some basic things in here. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to target for this ad, or for this audience, I guess, I'm going to put two different cities. I live in Columbia, so we'll do that one. And I also do a lot of work in Charleston, so we'll put that one. Okay, you can see already that we took this down to about 500,000 people just by doing that. We're going to go ahead and change the age. I like to start around 22, which is about the time whenever people graduate from college. And for this one, I'm going to make it a wide audience and go on all the way up to 60. That should include the parents of these people. We'll go ahead and leave the gender to everyone. One cool thing about doing audiences this way is you can leave things like this. You can leave it to gender as all, and then later on in the ad, you can still narrow it down by using the in-ad controls later. All right, so this is where it starts to get interesting. As I narrow these things down, the Facebook will suggest or will tell me more and more about my audience. So people who live in Columbia and Charleston are 55% women and 45% men, and it'll even tell me the things that they like. We can see here all these things are Columbia and Charleston related. So it tells you a lot about what these people are into already. And that can be good for helping you figure out this interest list. So we're going to actually start off with some basic things like wedding photographer. That's wedding photography. Wedding photographer. And we're going to add something like engagement. Let's see, we'll do engagement ring. We're trying to get this up high enough so that I have some data. So see, now we know that people who live in Columbia and Charleston who like engagement ring also like Veragio engagement rings and wedding bands. So we're actually going to add that to our list. And what else can we do? Sometimes it's good to start working on your additional interest before you start to narrow things down. So I'm going to actually take away Columbia and Charleston to see if it gives me any more ideas based on people who like wedding photography, wedding photographer, engagement ring, and this specific brand of engagement rings. What else might they like? And we can see here, so one good thing you can do if you want is to actually visit some of these pages to make sure that they are similar to what you're trying to target. But I will look here and see, obviously these are engagement ring companies. So we can add a few of those in there if we want. I don't think it's extremely important for me to add that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and add back in Columbia and Charleston. Another type of thing you can do here is you can add in things like wedding venues that might be really big. So for example, one big wedding venue in Charleston would be Boone Hall Plantation. We can add that, and that actually gives us enough people that it's starting to make suggestions again. It's telling me that they probably like the Gamecocks. One thing that you can use here, I'm not going to go into it too much in this video because I want to keep it pretty quick, but you can roll over these little I's to get some information about affinity and relevance. These things are important. This basically means that, well, it tells you right here, this audience is 32.7 times as likely to like this than the rest of Facebook. So my audience is very likely to like the Gamecocks. In fact, 9,000 out of 35,000 of this audience does. So it could be interesting to run an ad that has something to do with the Gamecocks because it will catch the attention of 9,000 of my audience almost immediately. But we don't necessarily want to add this to our interest list because even though some people who like this also like this, not all people who like this like this. So you have to think about kind of the logic statements that go into whether or not it's important for you to have something like that in your ad. But like I said before, it is important to have this information because whenever we write the ad copy, we could say something like, "Are you the newest engaged Gamecock?" and put a picture of Cocky at one of the weddings that I've shot recently, and that kind of ad would really reach out to this group of 9,000 people who likes these things and also likes the Gamecocks. So that could be a really creative ad that we could make. That's how you do very specific targeting. You not only implement this type of targeting, but you also get really specific on getting the attention of the people who you're advertising to by using copy and images in your ads that appeal to other things that they also like. We're going to look here in advanced. We can go to relationship status and say engaged. Now that's going to cut our audience down very significantly to 2,000 to 2,500, but for right now I'm going to actually leave it like that. We can look at things like education. Let's say they at least have some college. We can look at a lot of other things. I'm not going to go into everything you can look at right now, but this is probably a pretty good audience. Let's see if we can make it a little bit bigger somehow. What else can we add here? We can add things like, there's a category. Let's see, where is it? In family and relationships. I'm not sure if that's an interest. I think it is. Yep, there it is. And we can go here and we can add marriage. And we can add weddings. And that brings us up to around 4,000, 3.5 to 4,000. I'm actually going to keep that just like it is, and I'm going to save this audience. We'll just name it Engaged in South Carolina. You save that, and later on we'll be able to use that audience whenever we make our ads.